Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. Azerlane Atago on the screen. She is the commander, and this is the build I will be using on the premium Tier 7 Japanese cruiser of the same name, Atago, which is available for 750,000 global XP in the store. We're going to be on Haven, capture the base mode in this game, and I'll give you a little bit of background here real quick. Last night, or the night when I played this, I don't know when this video will be published, I was watching the Spotted Gecko, fellow CC. He was streaming, and on his streams he likes to put countdowns in the chat. Basically, they allow anyone who is watching to start a game at the same time as Gecko, and thereby have a good shot at winding up in the same game as Gecko. That count-in thing is something I also do when I stream, and it's something the Hivehound does. It's a fun little trend that I see has caught on in the World of Warships Legends streaming community, and I think it makes the streams a lot more fun, more interactive, and a lot of people I notice in chats on Gecko's chat or mine or Hivehound's, they division up, maybe they meet new players to division up with, make new friends. It's all great. It's all good stuff. So anyway, I did that to get into the same game as Gecko here. I was kind of watching him before he started this game, wasn't in the chat, was being real quiet and sneaky, and we ended up on the same team. I saved the replay of this game, or the footage of it, because it's a good illustration of what the Atago here is all about. Although the result at the end of the game is, regrettably, a little bit less than satisfactory. Although we are going to give this game our all, and we're going to come out with some nice numbers and a very good effort at the end of it. It's just unfortunate, if you look at the minimap now, you'll notice our destroyer, the Kagero, is sailing toward the western side of the map there. He's going to get taken out early on. He's the only destroyer on our team. The enemy's destroyer is not going to die early on. So what's going to happen? Well, we're going to notice a lot fewer red ships on the map. Meanwhile, the red ships are going to have eyes on our team, and they're going to be able to have an advantage in shooting at us and taking us down. We're going to lose a couple ships right off the bat, and it's just going to kind of spiral out of control from there. Now, we're struggling to get into a really effective position. The Atago, particularly with the Azerlane Atago commander, is not necessarily a ship you can push in with. It excels, along with the other Japanese cruisers, at kiting. Part of the reason, though, is that this build makes it more dangerous to play this ship. In Azerlane Atago's second row of skills, there's one that kind of looks like a Molotov cocktail or something, like a glass bottle with a rag coming out of the end of it that's on fire. I can't remember what the skill is called right now at this point, but what it does is it increases the maximum HE damage of your shells and also increases the fire chance by a significant amount. And the offensive capabilities of the HE shells are massively buffed with that skill. The trade-off is that it increases incoming damage to the ship. So you don't really want to be taking a lot of shots with this build, particularly if you are being shot at by a battleship. We now are going to open fire on the Roma, and we're finally in a position where the Atago kind of comes into its own, and that is in a sort of open water area where we are shooting at a target and we are sailing away from them, kiting away. The advantages of kiting, of course, it makes you harder for the enemy to hit. You can close the angle of your ship, present a narrow target. You can kick back the throttle to half speed for a little while between shots, unexpectedly kick it back up to full, further throw off the enemy's aim that way, and periodically you open up your angle to get all of your turrets on target, fire a salvo, close it back up again. Makes it very difficult for the enemy to hit you, but it's quite easy for you to hit the enemy, start fires, and get them to, I guess, pull back sometimes, as this Roma is doing. He and the other cruiser on this flank aren't going to be an immediate threat. There is still one cruiser here and one friendly battleship to keep them in check. So we are going to move over to the other side of the map where all the action is happening and where both Gecko and Retro are dug in. They are, I think, both playing Alabamas, and they're taking some fire from an Iowa in front of them, as well as an unspotted cruiser there from behind the islands, possibly even that Nelson and that other battleship. Unfortunately, we don't have eyes on the entire enemy team, but the enemy team does appear to have eyes on most of us. Not me at this moment. The destroyer must not be anywhere too close. In fact, I don't know that we're going to see him at all in this game, but given that our intelligence on the location of the enemies is so limited, we do have to play this cautiously. We can't just charge out there into the middle of all of them, or we risk our ship sinking, and that's going to be of no help to anybody. By the time this game is over, we're going to have made a pretty valiant effort to win it, but we're going to come up a little bit short, and that effort sort of starts now with this salvo on the Iowa. We're still unspotted because that tiny little island is between the two of us, but we're not going to come to a complete halt here. Retro is in trouble. He's just been taken down by an enemy Roma, and now we've shot at the Iowa. We're spotted. The ingenious indicator tells us that 4 enemy ships are aiming at us, so we're going to have to be very, very cautious here. We're kind of waiting for the Iowa to shoot. We've already kicked the throttle up to full, taking some shots from some ships we cannot see, which is not good. The Iowa has shot, though, so that means it is safe for us to turn broadside to him and angle the rear of our ship toward the unspotted enemies. We did light the Iowa on fire once. He used his damage control, so we're hoping for a second fire, and there it is. He can't put that out. We know he's dead. We're going to take one last shot at him, and then we are going to commit to finishing our turn, put the guns on the other side of the ship, and start working on the mostly fresh Iowa out there. We've launched torpedoes in his direction. They are going to miss, but that's okay. These torpedoes are just kind of zoning tools that you throw out. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the enemy spots them, has to dodge them, and then gives broadside to your teammates and gets taken out that way. Very useful things to cause some mayhem. We're shooting at the Iowa. These shells are going to miss, which is something I didn't initially realize when I was playing this. I was kind of wondering why they weren't hitting. Turns out the Iowa, big surprise, is going in reverse, so we're going to have to adjust the aim there, and we're hoping to light a fire on him. We're coming around these islands unspotted. We are going to lose our firing angle on him if we don't slow down. But now that Roma and that other cruiser have been unspotted for a little while, and there's a New Orleans out there who is spotting us. So we're going to stop shooting. We notice the Roma appears on the map. We're going to start turning toward him now. He has shot at us and missed, so that's good. But we've dropped spots since we kept our guns silent. Now we know the Roma and the other enemy cruiser here on this flank are closing in. We're going to stop to deal with them. We don't want to be caught in a crossfire, and doing this is pretty much going to be the only chance our team has. Things aren't looking too good. So we launched some torpedoes at the Roma. Hopefully one of them will find its mark. Our plan, though, is to sail around the corner of this island and hopefully catch this Hipper broadside. So we can see his ship icon on the map, and that shows us which way he's pointing. It looks to me like maybe if we can clear this island, we will have a pretty broad angle on him. So we switch to the AP, and we're hoping that maybe we can hit him for a citadel. We want to turn out, though, just in case he launches torpedoes. We don't want to turn into those, and we don't want to turn into that Roma either. Unfortunately, he's angled enough that a lot of our shells bounce. We do hit the Roma for a torpedo, or with a torpedo, though, and it causes flooding, which, yes, it looks like he's put that out. So that's significant. If we can follow that up with a fire, then he's going to have some problems. We're going to just launch some torpedoes there, not on any aiming indicator per se, but just in the general direction of the Hipper and the Roma, just in case one of them turns in, or the Hipper might start going forward. Who knows? But we've lit the Hipper on fire. We're going to turn now and commit to showing this side of our ship at the Roma and the Hipper. There is an Iowa sort of behind us, or an enemy battleship. It might not be the Iowa. He's kind of behind an island, though. We're hoping that he doesn't have shots on us, particularly since the Hipper gets a nasty hit on the aft end of our ship, takes out our engines, and reduces our speed by a lot. We're presenting a very steep angle now to the Hipper. He can't really do much to us, and also to the Roma, who does hit us, but only for some over-penetrations. This is potentially a losing situation here, if not for the single torpedo, which manages to hit the Roma, take away 10,000 of his hit points, and reduce him to very, very little health. That shot starts a fire, he is doomed, and he goes down. Now we can worry about the Hipper, clear him out of here before focusing on the rest of the ships behind us. It's just me and another friendly cruiser right now. Looks like this is pretty much a guaranteed loss, but we're going to go down swinging. We've hit the Hipper, and it looks like he's able to put out the fire. So it's going to take at least one more salvo to send him to the bottom. We use the AP, and it is enough to... Actually, it's not enough to take the Hipper down. He manages to bounce 4 of the shells by angling in. So it's going to take yet another salvo sent his way to sink him. And this one, he's not going to be able to angle against. He goes down. We have to worry now about the Iowa, and we've lost a lot of hit points. There's not much time left in the game either, just under 3 minutes. So there's really no way we're going to carry this. But we might be able to take down that Iowa. And that is our goal right now. The Iowa presents the biggest threat to us. And this sequence really shows just how effective kiting can be. So at least one ship is aiming at us. It's the cruiser for sure. We know the Iowa is not then, since we're only taking fire from the Wichita. But now the indicator says 2 ships are aiming at us. So possibly the Iowa, we very quickly turn back in to close the angle. Potentially one shot from that enemy battleship could kill us. And Ingenious does give us a good idea of how aggressive versus defensive we can or have to be. That's why it's a good trait, that, and it increases the turret traverse speed of the guns. I've seen a few people say it's like training wheels for newbies. Complete, absolute nonsense. No, it's a tool that gives you useful information and increases or decreases the time it takes for you to get your turrets on target. It's something that the Japanese cruisers greatly benefit from, and if you have Azurlane Atago, I think you should probably use Ingenious. If you don't have Azurlane Atago, I think you should probably use Mikawa and use Ingenious on him for the turret traverse maneuverability buffs and for the indicator that tells you how many ships are aiming at you. Unfortunately, though, we are at least going to be able to take this Iowa down as a consolation prize. He's basically got no hit points left. We are the only ship left alive on our team, though, and the clock is going to expire before we can really even lay into that Wichita out there. But at least with that shot, the Iowa goes down. He nearly takes us with him, but not quite. Less than 30 seconds left to go. Hopefully we can farm a little bit of damage off this Wichita, increase our total by just a smidgen, and there we do, taking our total damage done up to 140,000 with 4 kills. So I thought a pretty good game to illustrate what the Otago excels at. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already done that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.